Hello, Bronwyn Lund here from Bornholm Tours. This is the start of a new project. I'm on the island of Bornholm and I'm actually standing in front of one of our 4 round churches, and this is the biggest of the round churches, and I'm just starting a project where I'm going to film all 4 of the round churches on Bornholm. I'm about 4 or 5 kilometres inland from the fishing town of Gullem, and we have some lovely fields around us and the farmhouses, of course. So I hope you enjoy the tour. The church, as you can see, is a pretty magnificent structure. And it is the largest and possibly the oldest of the island's 4 round churches. The history is a little bit vague. It was built around 1160 and it was dedicated to St. Lawrence. It consists of an apse, an oval chancel, a large round nave, and has 3 stories. There's evidence the church was once fortified, the top story serving as an open shooting gallery. So let's go and have a look. I'll just walk around the outside of the church first so you can get a feel for how it is on the outside. And then the plan is to go in and look at all 3 stories of the church. This is the only church on the island that actually has all levels open. The other churches only have the first level open, and they are actually quite a bit smaller as well. So as I said before, this is the biggest church, and it's been standing here for almost a millennium, for just over 900 years. So that's a very, very long time. Over to the left is the farm. Every parish came with a farm. So the priest was both a priest and a farmer, and the farm actually supplied all the needs of the family that were part of the parish of the church. And now, of course, the farmhouse has been converted into a cafe, and it's a soap shop as well. So there's actually quite a funny little sign in there that says in Danish, you can go to the church and get your soul cleansed, and then you can come to the soapery and get your body cleansed. So I think that's quite cute, and it's a lovely place to come and have a cup of coffee and enjoy the garden. The building over to the left is the bell tower, and it was also used as an armoury. That's not open to the public, but that's also a building that has stood for almost a millennium. In we go. So it's quite a different setup from a traditional church being round. We have the baptismal font in the middle of the church here. I just want to read a little bit about the history of the church. In fact, we'll just go over to the altar, stand here so you can have a bit of a look around while I read out. The building is one of Denmark's oldest Romanesque churches. On the basis of coins dated 1157 found in the floor, the date of construction was probably around 1160. The fieldstone wall stands on foundations of Bornholm limestone. The double-arched apse bears similarities to that in Lund Cathedral. The round nave has an external diameter of 16 metres. In its centre there is a large round hollow column 6 metres wide. An opening leads into a small room known as the oven inside the column. Originally there were small Romanesque windows, but these were enlarged after the Reformation. During the 16th century, a number of buttresses were added to support the outer wall. The conical roof was replaced in the 17th century, and the porch that we just came through is from 1870. The bell tower stands separately from the church in the churchyard. The tower was the original entrance and gate tower. And there are 2 rune stones, one inside the porch and another outside, which date from 1100 and 1070 respectively. So now we're going to go up to the 2nd floor where there's a small museum, and then on up to the 3rd floor. These are the stairs you would flee up when your village was under attack from marauders at the coast. As I said before, the round church was also used for defence. And in here is an excellent little museum which talks about the history of the church. And you can see these hollow, the column goes right up, and it actually goes right up onto the 3rd floor. So there's quite a good view out over the country. It's just an empty hollow room. I think this is actually quite an interesting display here because it talks about the church's priests and their families. Just find the English translation, because at one stage the 4 round churches were actually had 4 brothers in each church as the priests. Bornholm's 4 round churches are linked by their architectural similarities and historical roots, and in the late 1600s there were 4 brothers who served as priests at these very same churches. As Jørgen Sull's brother Hans Sull was priest in Nykar, his brother Jakob Sull was priest in Ulske, and Mads Mikkelsen was priest in Østerlars. The last mentioned does not bear the Sull name, as he did not have the same father as his 3 brothers, but the same mother. Incidentally, the brother's sister, Karen Sull, was married to Paul Anker, who was the rebellious priest in Hasle and Bornholm's freedom fighter, who was also the brother of Merrin depicted in the painting. And we'll go down and have a look at this painting on our way out when we finish the tour. Before her marriage to Jørgen Sull, Merrin was married to Olaf Sonne, also a priest at Østerlars Church, with whom she had 8 children. So this shows how the powerful clergy families on Bornholm in the 17th century intermarried and constituted the ancestry of the Bornholm lineages Sulla, Sonne and Anker. And there's just a little bit here about the vicarage that we just looked at with the lovely garden. Southwest of the church is a red lime-washed timber-framed farmhouse, which is the church's vicarage. Construction of the present building was begun in 1836 by then parish priest Lars Winslow, but it replaced a 4-wing farmstead at the same site. In the spring of 2016, Østerlars Vicarage was nominated as one of the 15 loveliest vicarages in Denmark in a competition organised by Denmark's Architectural Heritage. Now, at one stage, they actually exhumed. They actually exhumed the bodies of this priest and his wife, and the collar that he has around his neck was still intact, but it fell apart when it was exposed to air. But what remained intact was actually her lace necktie, and that's actually what they have lying in this display cabinet here, is a piece of her dress, a piece of her lace. So that's a pretty old artefact. So now we're going to go up to the upper level. Just have a look in here. See the construction of the roof. So we'll go up to the upper level and see where you would flee to when there was the threat of attack. It's a little bit precarious, so we just need to be careful with our footing. It's even more fun when you're coming down the stairs. So now we are really quite high up, and we can see right out over the field, so you had a good vantage point and could see your enemies coming from a long distance, also on the water. And all the way around the church is these small arrow holes, so you could shoot arrows out if there was anyone coming under attack. And so this was essentially where the last stand would be taken. And on the left hand side here, there's also arrow slits in the wall. So even though you as the attacker had made it all the way up to the top of the church, you would still have to get through this final barrier, which is inside here. So the women and children and a few men with bow and arrow, and in fact probably the women had the bows and arrows as well, would be put into this central column, and this was the last stand. This was the last point of safety. And if you look up, you can actually see quite an amazing roof structure. And once again, arrow holes, so you could shoot out at the last stand. And there would also be people sitting up the top here, on the top of the wall, with boiling oil that they would also tip down on the attackers. And there would be a timber palisade all the way around here, so that your defenders could stand up and fire arrows through the holes. So it was a very important defensive structure as well as a church back in the day. Right, we'll head back downstairs again now and have a look at that picture of the family, the priest's family. I always find it interesting, the stories about the people and how they lived and the influence they had on society. Just make sure we don't bang the camera on the ceiling. That would kind of be the end of our tour then. Back past the museum. Stairs are really a little bit tricky. You need good shoes on to do this tour. Right, so now we're back in the chapel proper. We'll just go round and have a look at this family now that we know a little bit more about them. So these are the children of the marriage, and the interesting thing is in these family paintings is they always have the males on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side if you're looking out from the picture, and the females on the other side. And I'm actually going to go in and do the church in Ronna, which is the big town on the other side of the island, and film in the church there, because they actually have some really interesting family pictures of the priests and their families. So obviously these three children are from this marriage, but remember that Merrin, the woman in the picture, she was actually married to the priest that was in the parish previously, before this priest. And she had already had 8 children. So at that point in time, when this painting was made, she had 11 children. So she actually looks pretty tired, I reckon. So the priest died and she married the new priest. I guess that's the way things were done then, because she knew her role as a priest's wife and was obviously fertile, so that was a good thing. And here are the 2 rune stones in front of me and behind me. And this runic stone was previously used as a casing stone in the belfry. The inscription dates to 1025 to 1075 AD and says, "Brother and Edmund had this stone raised in memory of their father Sigmund. Christ and St Michael and St Mary help his soul." The other rune stone is quite a bit bigger, and it's a medieval tombstone from 1370 AD. The priest Henry Kaiser was buried under the stone. In 1882, the stone was moved inside. And over here is actually quite a nice painting of the 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Not in order of that actually, so we've got Matthew in the second, Mark, then Luke, and then John is the first one on the left. So that's the end of our tour of Østerlars roundchurch. I hope you enjoyed the tour. This is Bronwyn Lund signing off from Bornholm Tours. Bye for now.